listening to the Rebel Rebel podcast with Rory Carson. Tasha Vigeshtak, leis an fod cruelly Rebel Rebel, le Rory McCarson.
This next song are the words of the late great Bobby Sands. The White Wall. Bobby Sands was here, I wrote with fear, in an awful shaky scrawl. I wrote it low, where eyes don't go. It was but to testify that I was sane and not to blame, should here I come to die. 1803 was here there to see, out from the sweet town of Derry. Australia bound if we didn't go round, marks of our fetters we can't. In a rusty iron chains we cried for our oil. Good women we left in sorrow, as the maid sails on board the curses we heard on the English and thoughts of tomorrow. Soil down below that's we were like. Oh, the hardy scream open out from a dream by a vision of old Robert dying. When the sunburned cruel and dished out the girl, Donald Connor was down with the fever. 60 rebels today bound for Botany Bay. How many will need to receive her?
Come on now, let's see you all sing with us. I was back home in Derry.
Free Derry!
I wish I was back home in Derry.
Curse them to hell as the bow fought to swell our ship and make them up in the fire. White horses rode high as the devil had fine, taking souls to Hades by toil. 5 weeks out to sea, we were now 43. We buried our comrades each morning. In our own slime, we were lost in a time of endless nights without dawning.
Come on, let's see you sing with us. Come on, here we go. I wish I was back home in Derry.
Free Derry!
I wish I was back home in Derry.
Sing it with us. Come on. Let's hear ya.
I wish I was back home in Derry. I wish I was back home in Derry.
Bandy man, the land is a hell for a man. He ran down his whole life in slavery, where the climate is raw and the gun is the law. See the wind, there ain't care for bravery. 20 years have gone by, I've ended my bond. My comrades ghosts walk behind me. Terrible I came and I'm still the same. On a cold winter night you'll find me.
Here we go. Oh, I wish I was back home in Derry. Oh, I wish I was back home in Derry. Oh, I wish I was back home in Derry. Oh, I wish I was back home in Derry.
I wish I was back in free Derry. The words of Bobby songs back home in Derry. Hey, sing along there, folks. Thank you.
Well, folks, good afternoon. How you all doing? This is the Rebel podcast with Rebel Sundays with myself, Ro, here this Sunday. The second podcast of the year. You're very, very welcome along. As usual, a wee bit of a gremlin at the start. I think it just could be the internet connection in this house knocked off on me or so. I deleted that there stream just for who was asking. So this is the live stream, folks, and we're on exclusively on YouTube only. So we aren't on Facebook today or any other day. We're just on YouTube from now on. So if you can share the stream, folks, get as many people to listen as possible, and we'll get a good Rebel Sunday going today until 4 p.m. So say you're very welcome. I've got a few people jumped on already commenting. Scott Temperley, how you doing, Scott? Mick McAdam, afternoon from Banbury, Oxfordshire Row. Thanks, Miss CD. I love it. Happy days. Hugh McKenna, well, how you doing, Hugh, as well? So Hugh O'Neill just said, is this Hugh live, Row, or what is the 13:10 one? You've only just started. Yes, so I basically started the show at 1 o'clock. And for whatever reason, my internet just knocked off. And it booted it off YouTube for some reason, but this is the live one now. So sorry, folks, these things just seem to happen. It's not a professional organisation. This is just a sort of wee tiny one-man show I'm trying to run from this wee box room here. And sometimes wee snippets and aliens do get into the system and knock you off. But we are here live now till 4 p.m, so keep it locked in. Lee Curry, how you doing? Good afternoon from Croydon. Michael Bolton, good afternoon. Ro, mate. Well, Mick, how you doing? Good to see you on this Sunday, mate. As usual. Who's this here? Is it Jay Jared? Good afternoon. Celine. Oh, is this Celine on? Is this your... Right, okay, Celine, no problem. Sarah Boland, brightening a very dull lead Sunday afternoon. Happy days. David Tempest Mitchell, hi, Ro, listening in from York, having a Rebel Sunday session. Darcy's Bar, Slantia. Happy days, mate. Good to see us all on as well. Joseph McGow is on. Is this the KAQ? I'm nearly sure we've done this before. Please play Paul Kinsella. Right, so Celine says, Rory, my YouTube went under my son's name some reason. I'm in listening. Happy days, Celine, no problem. Justin McQuillan, good afternoon, Ro. I do loving the Rebs today. Marty Heaney's on as well. Afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ro, for the CD. Stories of the Land, absolutely love it. It is a fantastic CD. Marty, you will love it. I think there's 18 songs out there or so. Right, so we've got a few more wee tracks on here, folks. So if you can share the stream, and before we jump on the next song, the first song we opened the show there with, of course, was, you can see in the top left hand corner here, so you can, is it up there somewhere on the screen, Peter O'Connell from Clover, one of the frontmen of the Limerick's premier rebel band, that's going to be on the phone, folks, for a wee interview, the very first interview of the year, at about 2 o'clock. So that was Clover with Back Home in Derry from their upcoming second live CD recorded in Thomond Park in Limerick, folks. So that's going to be something to look forward to. Peter's been in the game a very, very long time. Very, very talented musician. He'll have a few stories to tell about himself and, of course, about Clover as well. So listen off that there about 2 o'clock. So we're going to be playing two unreleased original Clover songs as well, folks, basically in between Peter's interview. So listen in for that. Right, so yesterday you may have seen me posting it. Was my big mate Johan Carlson from Sweden, Stockholm. It was his birthday, and very good friend of mine, big Johan. Laddies, if you've seen him over at the Celtic games, usually in the Squirrel Bar I've been, over at the Bundoran Celtic Festival, you'll see him. He has the big horns on his head like the Viking, so he does. So yeah, it's his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Johan. He was on Facebook Live most of the day yesterday. So say his favourite song is a song from Marcella. So we're going to do this one spicy for you now, Johan. So I'm going to do it from, of course, Damien Quinn's brand new album, Song of the Lark. And this is, of course, was Damien's tribute to the 10 Hunger Strikers. So here we go. This is the song from Marcella from Damien Quinn, spicy for big Johan, the Swedish Provo.
doesn't seem quite so long ago. Last time that I saw you, ain't it funny how the memories grow? They always fall around you. They tried to break you in a living hell, but they couldn't find a way. So they killed you in an H-block cell and hoped that all would turn away. They thought your spirit couldn't rise again, but it dared to prove them wrong. And in death you tore away the chains and let the world hear freedom's song. Yet the heartache and pain lingers on. They stood here, but it's so long since you've gone. But we're stronger now. You showed us how freedom's fight can be won if we all stand as one. There was an easy road to choose to bring this heartache to an end. Easy roads are always sure to lose. I've seen that time and time again. If you stand by me like yesterday, I find the strength to carry on. So let your spirit shine along the way, and our day will surely come. Yet the heartache and pain lingers on. They're still here, but it's so long since you've gone. But we're stronger now. You showed us how freedom's fight can be won. Stand as one. Bobby Sands, Francis Hughes, Ray McCreish, Patsy O'Hara, Joe McDonald, Martin Herson, Kevin Lynch, Kieran Doherty, Thomas Michael Wade, and Michael Devine.
Yeah, a song from a cellar, folks. Fantastic off Damien Quinn's new album, The Song of the Lark. So it is brilliant. So I don't know who won the CD. That was one of the CDs I gave away during the big Christmas jumper competition. I think it was 8 altogether, so all the lucky winners. Most of them have all got through to me anyway and said they got them. So Celine's on as well here. She says she won the Emer McLaughlin new album of Thorn Dingland Side, and she says hasn't had it off from she got it. Mickey Bolton, so have you finally on the big TV? Can I give a wee wave to Alicia and the wee Rebel Brandon? Well, folks, what's the crack? My head must be massive on your TV, is it, Mick? Right, so Joseph McGoy says, any track by Cara Dillon. What a voice, have you heard her? I have heard her, mate, but actually never played on her stuff. I'll have a wee look in that there, so well. Hugh O'Neill, Ro, can you please play Wolf Tones, The Tricolored Ribbon? It's on Alive O. Right, yes, I'll get that line up for you. Like these songs, I have no problem playing the Wolf Tones and stuff on the YouTube show. It's just Facebook I would have cut off for. So it's all no holds barred now, folks. Anything you want at all, get the requests in, and if I can get them, I'll definitely play it for you. So we're here till 4 o'clock today, so plenty of time for the Rebs and maybe a few wee folk songs as well. Marty Heaney says, happy belated birthday, Johan. Any chance of getting in touch with Henrik and let him know we need him back home at Celtic? Wishful thinking, I know. Well, here, he's not doing too well over in Barcelona at the minute, so he isn't. Them boys are plummeting down the league as far as I can see, so they are. So Sean Milley says that me and my dad Terry listening from Hartley put up the Ra. Happy days, lads. Great to have you on this afternoon. Right, so who asked for this song here? Where are you? Right, somebody, a notification came through there. I think it's somebody that wasn't signed into YouTube, and I can't see the comment they put in there, but I got it through on the phone anyway. So they're asking for a Sniper's Promise. So I think it was Aileen somebody. I'm not sure. I think it was Aileen somebody asked for it, but I can't see it here now. So she asked me for Sniper's Promise. So I'm going to do this version here. I've loads and loads of versions of the Sniper's Promise. Still think the Kathleen Largy version is the best of all time. But I'm going to do a version here from a young girl who is like rocketing up the sort of rebel and folk scene. You probably heard of her. Maeve Walsh. She was on a live stream there on Friday night as well, the same night as Emer, and both of them maybe clashed at the same time, but the numbers both of them were getting was fantastic. So happy. I've been talking to Maeve over the last few days, and she's going to be coming on the show hopefully before the end of January or at the start of February. So she's going to be releasing her very first CD, and this one, it didn't go be strictly rebel. Apparently there's no rebel on it at all. It's mostly all folk and ballad stuff, but she is going to be releasing a strictly rebel album during the year sometime. So once I get a few of the tracks from her first new album, or her debut album, should I say, and we'll get Maeve on the show. So we'll go to this, her version here now of the Sniper's Promise. Now, bear in mind, it's not a studio version, it's just one she sort of recorded in the house on one of her streams, but it's still a brilliant version. So this is for Aileen, who asked for it on YouTube here. This is the Sniper's Promise by the absolutely fantastic young lady. When you listen to her voice, like, I think she must be maybe in her early 20s, if that there. Maybe you close your eyes. You're listening to somebody that's been on the scene for a very, very, very long time. The voice is just amazing. This is Maeve Walsh with A Sniper's Promise.
The night was icy cold, I stood alone, waiting for an army foot patrol. And then at last they came within my sight. I squeezed the trigger of my Armalite. Oh mama, comfort me. I know these awful things, they have to be. And when the war for freedom has been won, I promise you I'll put away my gun. A shot rang out, I heard a soldier cry, please don't leave me here alone to die. forget the look on that boy's face. Fear, agony, torment, they all were there. To your memory, mama's life I spared. Oh mama, comfort me. I know these awful things, they have to be. And when the war for freedom has been won, I promise you I'll put away my gun. Oh mama, comfort me. I know these awful things, they have to be. And when the war for freedom has been won, I promise you I'll put away my gun. I promise you I'll put away my gun.
Yeah, it's another fantastic Maeve Walcher, folks, as Marty Heaney has just pointed out. Only 19. Would you really think I'll be girls 19? Listen to her voice. Absolutely amazing. There's a Sniper's Promise for Aileen, who asked for it there on YouTube, folks. It's not a problem. Ed O'Doherty, best of luck to Peter of Clover. Class show, Ro. Happy days, man. Thank you. Missed the Facebook gigs. I must send you up 2 albums of the Rogues Limerick. Keep up the good work. Yes, mate, no problem. Just send me a PM to the podcast page on Facebook, and I'll sort you out my address, mate, and send them up, and I'll definitely get a few of the tunes played from the Rogues. Another great band from Limerick. Shalene just said she was class on Friday night, talking about Maeve, of course, here. James Corbett, brilliant song. Marty Heaney says, yeah, you watched Maeve's show after Emer the other night. She's a brilliant singer for her 19-year-old, definitely. Right, so David Tempest Mitchell, any chance of Emer's tearjerker? Paddy Kelly, please. Yes, mate, I'll get that on for you this afternoon sometime, not a problem, before 4 o'clock. Right, so Mick McAdam, Billy Reid, if possible, please, mate. I think that's all the ones up to date. So Hugh O'Neill asked for this one. He said, wouldn't normally play a lot of Wolf Tone stuff, folks, on when I was doing the Facebook show, because it was just like a red flag, and they would have cut me off straight away. It was a nightmare, so it was from them. So we're going to do this one he has now for Tricoloured Ribbon. And this is from their Alive Alive OCD. And this one here, like Brian's banjo sounds a bit out of tune. I don't know, whenever it starts off. But this is from the Tricoloured Ribbon from Derek Warfield and the Wolf Tones, of course, folks. Derek, unfortunately, not there anymore. But like sort of Noel and Liam. This is just the band is not the same. But like whenever I think the Wolf Tones are still good. I've seen many times when it's just the 3 lads. But definitely without Derek Warfield, they definitely aren't the same band. I tell you that there. So here we go. This is Tricoloured Ribbon, especially for Hugh O'Neill, who asked me for on YouTube Live here, folks, this Sunday afternoon. So this is Rebel Sundays. Myself, Ro, get on it. Here we go.
I had a true love, if ever a girl had one. I had a true love, a brave lad was he. One fine Easter Monday, with his gallant comrades, he started away for to make Ireland free. For all around my hat I wear a tricoloured ribbon, oh, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me, why do I wear it? It's all for my own true love I never more will see. He whispered, goodbye love, old Ireland is calling. High over Dublin our tricolour flies. In the streets of the city the foeman is falling, and we birds are whistling, old Ireland arise. For all around my hat I wear a tricoloured ribbon, oh, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me, why do I wear it? It's all for my own true love I never more will see. In playing and watching the dark hours passed over, the roar of the guns brought no message to me. I prayed for old Ireland, I prayed for my lover, that he might be saved and old Ireland be free. For all around my hat I wear a tricoloured ribbon, oh, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me, why do I wear it? It's all for my own true love I never more will see. The struggle was ended, they brought me the story. The last whispered message he sent unto me. I was true to my land, love, I fought for her glory, and gave up my life for to make Ireland free. For all around my hat I wear a tricolour ribbon, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me why do I wear it, it's all for my own true love I never more will see.
Yeah, especially for Hugh O'Neill with the Wolf Tones, the tricolour ribbon. Hugh just come out there, excellent girl, Millie Milgot, mate. I remember seeing them in the Barlands in 1987. The Irish Brigade with a support band. Oh, what a night, I'm sure it would have been. Jeez, I never knew the Irish Brigade done a gig back on the Wolf Tones. There you go. That would have been maybe the original, all the cast together, the Irish Brigade. Martin Heaney, good call, Ian Melly. Let's get Damien Quinn over the 1 million views. Listen, lads, don't forget, that's going to be on here very, very soon. Actually, the next song coming up, actually. So, you know, I've been talking about Damien this morning already, so I have that song lined up, don't worry. Mick McAdam has just sent me a wee photo there on Facebook on the Messenger. He has it on his big TV, and there's a picture of the child here wearing the Sally top as well. Who's that there? Has a wee scarf on, folks. So if any of you are watching the show today, and you have me on Facebook, or you're on Facebook, send us a wee picture, just basically how you're watching the show, if you have it on the TV, or what you're doing, if you're having a wee drink or something, and I'll give you a wee shout out. So yeah, thanks very much, folks, for everybody who's tuning in today. Really, really appreciate it. So another 25 minutes, so we're going to have Peter, folks, from Clover on the show today for maybe 40 minutes for an interview. We're really looking forward to this one. I have to say, everything I've asked Peter this week, folks, of him, he's been like a bang straight away. Really great to work with, have to say it there. I know there's some people you interview and it's torture to get hold of them and you're waiting the messages and all, but I have to say, Peter, for a play, mate, you've been an absolute pleasure to deal with this week. Much appreciated. Right, so Eamon Malley says, and Marty Heaney as well, both just commented here. So Eamon says, Ro, you have to play Damien Quinn Rebel Sunday song to try and get him over the 1 million mark. So this particular one here, I probably downloaded the original video about a good few years ago, so and that's the one I normally play at the gigs. I think this is actually a better version, the one he recorded on his Live at the Rock Bar CD. So it is, for strangely enough. But yeah, so of course, if any of you have ever been to the Rock Bar on a Sunday night, Rebel Sundays, they were the very first ones to do it, and then every other bar tried it. All had a Rebel Sunday all over the place, all over like bloody Ireland. Every pub had a Rebel Sunday, but of course the Rock was the ones that do it first. And the original lineup was Bick McFarlane started things off, then you had Jerry Ogue, then Damien Quinn. So obviously Damien, to promote the night in the Rock, he came up with his own song called Rebel Sundays, and it goes to the tune of The Galway Girl. And I have to say, I put a wee post up about this morning, because Damien put a post up himself, and I've shared it for him. I think he's a good, they still could be a bit off, maybe off the, I think it's about 500 views off 1 million views, folks, on YouTube. I mean, 1 million views for a song that's never been released by a record label, just somebody that's recorded this year in a bar who read it himself, you know. It's nearly 1 million views. Just take that in, folks, 1 million views for an Irish Rebel song. And as I mentioned this morning on my post, Damien has got a lot of grief for this song, particularly from, which annoys me, from fellow musicians, good friends of mine, who have all sort of given him grief and said it's a parody song, and he mentions himself as the third man in the song, like a third person. Damien Quinn hates the Queen. But I've interviewed Damien a couple of times about this song, and he's mentioned it, and the way he talks about saying, I'm just explaining about, basically before I wrote the song, that's why all these words went into it. Before he actually wrote Rebel Sundays, a lot of people would have been singing Damien Quinn hates the Queen before like he even wrote the Rebel Sundays, you know. So that's why I put it into the song. He wasn't basically just being pompous like a lot of people sort of say he is. But say, folks, I think it's 500 views off 1 million. So if we can get this, go on to YouTube and just type in Damien Quinn Rebel Sunday, and before this song starts off, you hear my big mate Mark Tolan, the top of his voice, one Damien Quinn, and Mark's chanter is almost as famous as the song itself, so it is. And if you watch this video as well, straight at the front you can see Rachel Rogan and Paul Murphy as well, two stalwarts of Rebel Sunday standing on the stage in the Rock Bar in front of Damien. So this is, folks, get on to YouTube, get this here, just view it. This is the original Rebel Sunday song from Damien Quinn. This is before he put on his Live the Rock Bar CD. So, of course, the show is named after this song, so it is. It's all note. So this is Rebel Sundays, folks. On Rebel Sundays, myself, Ro. This is Damien Quinn, folks. Get a listen to it and sing along. Go ahead, Big Mark.
One of you not singing this wee song just before Jerry O comes on. Well, it took a stroll down the old Falls Road. Rebel Sunday is the day when you see Jerry O and Damien Quinn sing the songs of the IRA. And yes, you friends, are you heading to the Rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shibby. Well, Jerry Oak sings fuck your flag and fuck it again, while Damien Quinn sings 18 Brits and a nation once again. And yes, you friends, are you heading to the Rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shibby. You'll hear the songs of Bobby Sands and the men who fought and died, the broad black brimmer and the black and tans and the provost's lullaby. And yes, you friends, are you heading to the Rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shibby. Well, I took a stroll down the old Falls Road. Rebel Sunday is the day when you see Jerry Oak and Damien Quinn sing the songs of the IRA. And yes, you friends, are you heading to the Rock? Cause I have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry Oak, he loves Shibby. Well, Jerry O sings fuck your flag and fuck it again, while Damien Quinn sings 18 Brits and a nation once again. And yes, you friends, are you heading to the Rock? Cause you have Rebel Sundays on at 6 o'clock. There's Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen, and Jerry O, he loves Shibby. Damien Quinn, he hits the Queen. 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 Jerry O, Jerry O, Jerry O, Jerry O, Jerry O, Jerry O, Jerry O. Thank you very much for Damien Quinn.
Yeah, folks, there goes Damien Quinn there with Rebel Sundays, the original video for you folks. So get on the YouTube and get a listen to that there. I think there are 500 views off 1 million views, folks, for Damien. And he's promised if he gets to 1 million, he's going to have a massive big party on Facebook Live and give away lots of stuff. Rebel Sundays CDs, Rebel Sundays t-shirts, everything. So there you go. Right, James Corbett, listen to you roll till 4, then Damien, then my legs are going dancing. Brilliant entertainment, happy days. Joseph McGoy says, for my niece Nicole, we nurse in Altnagavin Hospital, always went to the Rock Bar every Sunday with boyfriend Darren. We were talking about Rebel Sundays. I wouldn't have got a lot to Rebel Sundays, even though I live in West Belfast here, but obviously because of work, I usually start 5, 6 in the mornings on a Monday. So the only time I ever got to Rebel Sundays was away with the band. And obviously we would have booked a Monday off work after a parade. So I think the last time I was there was Bodenstown, the last Bodenstown parade it was on. Actually would have been one of my last parades with the only Alsa flute band. So obviously we all went to the Rock afterwards. So we did, absolutely pissed. So I did, and I was on literally the Venoms. Anytime I drink Venoms, it's like if any of you know what they are, they're mental. I believe Kev Mansparad for getting me put on them in Santa Puerto Rico and Gran Canaria a few years ago, and it's his fault. So that there night there, drinking pints of venom in the Rock. Can't even remember actually how much they are. I'm sure it was an extortionate price. But and I was with a lot of the band ones all went home, and so I was with Chris Scott. So obviously we up to the Sloans afterwards. You always get seen at the end of the Sloans on a Sunday night up in the White Rock after Rebel Sundays, the Rock Bar. You get like the last lot of pints in you for the last half hour or something. Whoever was on DJing, Brian Duffy or Donny McGee or somebody, whatever. And absolutely airlocked. So this particular night, I know I was off work Monday morning. So I can remember going home, right? Can't remember getting into bed tall, but I can't remember getting up in the middle of the night at some stage to go to the toilet. And now I know now I didn't go. I went to the toilet, but not in the toilet. So I went out of my bedroom, and as you go into my room, turn right, basically turn right, and then left is our bathroom. But I turned right and went straight in my daughter's room. She was obviously sleeping. It's a big massive mat all on the floor. So I went in the bedroom, absolutely pissed all over the whole floor. All of our built-in wardrobe we spent thousands of pounds getting put into, and obviously didn't know. Done it, and I'm back in the bed again. And all I heard was the next morning, Cherry woke up squealing. Ah! Chelsea got out of bed and walked in this mat. It was soaking. The wife jumped up. I go, what the hell? And at the time we thought there was a leak somewhere. Somewhere was leaking. We're going, what the hell? Laura was like, listen, like, when you get up, check in the cupboard, see if something's leaking, whatever it is. And I couldn't for the life of me know where this leak was coming from, and I know the leak came from me, so it did. But honestly, wild. So it wasn't the Laura came home from work at night and she smelled it, and she was just like, "You bastard!" Come in, flung the mat over me, hit me in the face with it. It was absolutely reeking. So it was. So I'm not allowed to drink Venoms anymore. So I'm not, because that's what they do to you. Well, like still to this day, she talks about it, gets very angry. I don't know why, like, so don't. But there you go. So folks, yeah, that's my experience of going to Rebel Sundays. It does terrible things to you. So it does. Right, so next tune we're going to do, somebody asked me for Beeswing earlier on there. It was a big leak, Marty. Yep, definitely was a big leak, indeed. All over the whole floor. The floorboards were near lifting up, so they were actually, on the bloody wooden floor. Hugh Neal said, my mate Cubby does that every time he gets pissed. Although it was actually, I done it once before in Bundoran with the band. We'll tell you that there. Actually, I'll tell you that there later on. That's another story altogether. Jesus, I nearly wrecked a bloody £1,000 side drum because of my drunkenness in Paris nightclub. That was the first night of the Celtic Festival. But somebody asked me for Beeswing earlier on, right? There's Keith on. Hi, Rose, Celtic Sports. Good to see you on, Keith. Happy days. Right, so yeah. Somebody asked me for Beeswing earlier on, went the stream, cannot see it who it was. So my honestly favourite version is here. I just say Marty Healy is Mr. Beeswing. It's his song. I know he didn't write it. He's not famous for it. Well, he is famous for it now. Whenever you play Beeswing, you do the Marty Healy version. He's just Mr. Beeswing. Tour's talking Marty Healy from Derry, folks. So this is a version they done at the raised on the night for the launch of the CD, raised on Songs and Stories. And I don't think this song actually, it didn't make it onto the CD. So it didn't, but it was recorded on YouTube, and it's just all acoustic. There's no drums, just basically Rory's just playing the cajon on it with the sticks. There's an acoustic bass guitar, acoustic guitar, and the whistle. That's fantastic. So folks, listen to this here. It's Kelly's Men from Derry with Beeswing, recorded live in Derry, uncut at the Raising Songs and Stories night. And don't forget, another 15 minutes, folks, we'll have Peter O'Connell from Clover live on the phone for our first interview of 2021.
She was a lost child. Well, she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price in love, I'd stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. Surprise, like a fox caught in the headlights, her animal and her legs. She said to me, oh, can't you see, I'm not the factory kind, and if you don't take me out of here, you'll surely lose my mind. Well, she was a rare thing, as fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. Well, she was a lost child. Well, she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price on love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. And he said to her, we'll settle down, get a few acres dug, fire burning in the hearth, and babies on the road. She said, oh man, you foolish man, it surely sounds like hell. You may be lord of half the world, you're not on me as well. But she was a earthling, as fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, well, she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price of love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. They say she even married once to a man named Romany Brown, but even a gypsy caravan was too much settling down. And they say Rose is faded now, her weather and heart booze. Well, maybe that's the price you pay for the chains that you refuse. But she was a rare thing, as fine as a bee's wing, so fine a breath of wind might blow her away. She was a lost child, well, she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no price in love, I'll stay. You wouldn't want me any other way. Well, she was a rare thing, as fine as a bee's wing, and I miss her more than ever words can say. If I could just taste some of her finest now, if I could hold her in my arms again today, I wouldn't want her any other way.
Yeah, Kelly's man there, folks, with Bees Wing. That was really fantastic there for you. That's recorded live there at the launch of the Raisin Songs and Stories album. Brilliant, uncut and raw there. I think definitely my favourite version. And of course, Marty Healy on it. And Marty Healy just says, every time you mention Marty Healy, the wife thinks you're talking about me. Yeah, just the same. Two proud dairy men. So these are two similar names. But don't think you can sing like Marty Healy, can you, Marty? I don't think so anyway. Steph McNally's just on Bees Wing. That was a lovely place. Afternoon there, I slept in, mate. Sammy Marshall says, my brother John pissed the bed that often there was a rainbow over the bed. I can well believe that there, so I can. Is that Big Smash you're talking about, is it, Sammy? Right, so we're going to play one more song, okay? And then we're going to get Peter on the phone. Right, so where are we? Who asked for this one? Let's go jump up there. So we're going to our first track from Emer of the days. We are, folks. Trying to find who it was asked me for this here. We'll get a wee second. Like, where are you? Who asked for this song? Let's wait up on the chat. Right. David, there you go. David Tempest Mitchell. Any chance of Emer's Tearjerker? Paddy Kelly, please, Ro. Yes. Right, so this is from Emer's brand new album, A Thorn in England's Side. And you'll know I've done this song whenever the album came out. I've done a few songs, so I'm going to talk about this one. So this song is all about a good friend of Emer, Fiona, about her daddy, Paddy Kelly, legendary figure in the East Rome Brigade of the Irish Republican Army. Led many a daring operation, and unfortunately came to his death in a lock call at that there operation, folks. So, yep, This song features Katie Kelly, who is Trina's daughter and Paddy Kelly's granddaughter. And Emer has done a fantastic version of this here in the studio. She brought me Katie and mother. So for David Tempest Mitchell, this one's spicy for you. Then we're going to have Peter O'Connell on the phone at this one. So this is the legend Paddy Kelly.
Think of our soldiers and the battles they fought to tear down the rules of the crime. How my eyes fill with tears as it's brought to my ears of those men who will ne'er be forgotten.
In Carrickfergus, Paddy Kelly was born at a time of injustice and pain, when his lonely home had struggled and fought in the grips of those cold English chains. As he grew to a man, he saw at first hand the plight of his country around him. When those brave Irish soldiers had laid down their lives in the depths of those cold H-block cells, from the teachings and words of the brave Bobby Sands, for his country he took up the fight. When our brave Bobby Sands had given his life to gain Ireland's justice and right, back to his family in his hometown Dungannon, he moved there to start a new life and to take up the reins of his family's long history of rebels against England's might. He rose through the ranks of our bold IRA, his humble beginnings well known, to the officer commanding that mighty brigade of those men from that great East Tyrone. Informers had tried and immeasurably failed to lay down our volunteer load, but with discipline, cool and calm dedication, our hero would strike one more blow. He trained up our bold volunteers to a man, as his ancestors did long before him. The blood in his veins, it ran just the same, with the longing for old Ireland's freedom. Then in Lochar one day, when our bold IRA went bravely to fight for their freedom, an ambush was laid, with their lives they have paid. Our men fell in action forever. So they let him to rest in old Eden Dark, with the green Tom and Shamrock above him. Warren Keat and his children said one last farewell to a man they had loved so dearly. From a family revered by the brave Thomas Clark, in the days of that great Easter rising, came a true Irish son, who from war never run, Paddy Kelly, the pride of Dungannon. Paddy Kelly, the pride of Dungannon. La 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 la.
Yeah, folks, absolutely fantastic there for you. That is, of course, Paddy Kelly, the Pride of Dungannon from Eamon and of course featuring young Katie Kelly, the granddaughter of Paddy Kelly there, folks. Someone spicy for David Tempest Mitchell, so it was. So yeah, it is just going about 2 o'clock, so we're going to have our first guest, hopefully he's on the line now, of 2021, so live from Kilmallock in County Limerick. Peter, are we there?
How you doing, Ro? Can you hear me?
Yes, mate, happy days. Just a bit of an echo. I had turned down the Mander speaker. Happy days, mate. Good to have you on. Great.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Right, 2 seconds. Just get this here up here. Yeah, folks, so I have to say, it's generally been an honour to have you on today. You've been sort of a big supporter of the show, like from the very, very start. And I have to say, this week, like I say, as I mentioned earlier on, so many people you get interviews on, you're sort of torching them all week just to try and get the answers back and whatever, and just details. And mate, honestly, everything I've asked you, you've been on the ball straight away, so there's much appreciated.
Yeah, no bother.
Cheers. Right, so obviously starting off at the very beginning, so growing up in Kilmallock, say in County Limerick, I would probably think a very musical household. So what was like the very first instrument you picked up then?
Yeah, well, I live just at the start of the Kilmallock Road in Limerick. I'm not quite in Kilmallock, but I'm on the city side of it. But
okay.
Our house was always music in our house. Growing up, when my grandmother was alive, she was a button accordion player, and my dad is a well-known accordion player in Limerick. He gigged the scene in Limerick for many years, so I would have grown up around the accordion. But funnily enough, as much as I tried, I could never manage the accordion. I could never get the hang of it.
One of the things I was going to say, because I know your dad played it and stuff, and going I thought that would have been the first instrument you would have done, like.
Yeah, much to my father's annoyance, I could never get the hang of the accordion, So the first instrument I would have picked up, I suppose, when my brother was a piper, so I mean, I would have started off with the tin whistle and the Highland bagpipes around the same time,
Right.
I would have been 9 or 10 years of age.
The Highland bagpipes. So obviously you've put a few videos up of you playing the whistle as well. So I think maybe like the whistle and the chant there would be like a similarly thing to play would it be? Aye?
It would be. There's six holes on a tin whistle, so you'd have 8 on the. When you start learning the pipe, you're given a practice chanter, and you get the hang of that before you're given you're not given a set of pipes for maybe 12 months or at least until you get the hang of playing. I took to it very quickly, I joined the pipe band in September of that year, and I was parading with the band on pipes by March, like.
Right, so I sort of asked this when I get a lot of people on from the south, like different guests of different bands and stuff. Would you have sort of grew up in a particularly sort of political viewed house or a political viewed family, like, or?
I always had an interest in the Republican side of things, but not really overly political in our house, It's just, I'm not sure where it came from really. I would have read books from a very young age on Collins and Dave and the Rising and all that, and I just took an interest in ballad. Like my dad would have played ballad music when he was gigging, so maybe I picked it up from there. I don't know really, to be honest, but I would have had an interest in it from ballad music. Just stuck with me, and the history of it, and just stuck with me. It resonated with me, like.
Right, so tell us basically about, I know you've sort of played like in a few pipe bands over the years, and I would get like a lot of stick from mates of mine and people who have played in different flute bands during like my 20 odd years in marching bands, about basically the amount of bands I've played in. I think I've probably sort of marched with every sort of flute band in Belfast. So how many sort of different bands have you been in? I mean, what's sort of the journey of why you sort of moved the different ones, or?
Yeah, well, the school I went to had their own pipe band. So I started off in the school band called CBS Pipe Band, the Christian Brothers Pipe Band.
Okay.
And I stayed with them for a couple of years in the school, but I left. Normally you would stay, if you joined the band, you would stay until you leave school, really. My brothers did, but I left earlier. I left when I was in third year in school. I just wanted to join a better band, So I went on to join another band in Limerick called the Limerick City Pipe Band.
Right.
And they would have been a higher standard, so I played with them for a couple of years, and I got to do loads and travelling and playing competitions and playing with other bands with them. It was a great experience, And then I stayed with them for about 15 years.
Long
And
time, like.
I le-
What is that?
Yeah, I enjoyed my time there, and I left then a couple of years ago to join just a third band. I kind of missed it, and I went back just to play for one. I just think I played for another 2 years, and we won the South of Ireland Championships with that last band, and I finished up after that then on a high kind of.
Right, because I think a lot of people that don't, and this applies for like the flute bands and whatever, but like accordion bands, I think a lot of people don't understand how much commitment and dedication it takes to play in a band.
It takes
it isn't just showing up at a parade and going, right, we'll jump in. It's all the practicing, and then all the the preparation that goes into it is like, it's not for everyone, I know many rows I've had over the years with I've seen my ex-partner, my wife now, my mother as well over the years, because you always put the band first, whatever, and other things need done, and you had to go and do this parade and whatever and stuff, and it's a big ask, especially to play for so long with it. So it is, like,
it's a huge ask. Yeah, it's a lot of you could practice once, maybe twice a week in the evenings after work or school or whatever. There would be kids in the band as well. You train up the kids, and then you'd have the senior band practice. And I mean, to run a pipe band for 12 months. People say, like, would you start a pipe band? I mean, it's not as easy as that,
No, definitely not.
To run a pipe band, you're looking at about 30 grand a year, like.
Oh, that's big money. I think more, especially for a pipe band, like, because of the instruments and stuff involved, like.
And that's just to run it before you even practice or do anything. That travelling as well,
Yeah, well, I think they way sort of back in the day when I first sort of had an itch for like drumming, like before I joined the flute band. The first actually band I joined was a pipe band here in Belfast. It was called the Pibriella. I think that's the way it's pronounced, but they aren't going anymore. And then I was more in the sort of blood and thunder sort of style of drumming, like, and I just sort of couldn't grasp it. Also, sort of the rolls and the paradiddles, obviously, that you sort of do in a pipe band, and I just could not get it. It's like sort of such a young age, but I think sort of now I went like full circle, where like as I went through the years in the bands, that's what I've been more into now, more the sort of wee flickery bits and the paradiddles and the rolls. And I actually would love to have an hour crack now playing with a pipe band, or not actually march with them, just maybe get a few sessions with them and doing a couple of the songs, So it would
definitely, yeah.
So I have to say, I've really enjoyed your videos sort of on Facebook during the last year or so. You sort of give people an idea of your sort of varied musical talents. Obviously, you have on the acoustic guitar, bass guitar, whistle, and the bouzouki. So are these all self-taught instruments? Have they been yourself?
Well, the pipes I would have learned in school, but the tin whistle I picked up just from listening to my brother, and the guitar I taught myself. Yeah, and during the first lockdown back in March, I picked up a bouzouki for the first time, and I started teaching myself that, and I got the hang of that. And then this lockdown, I've been looking at the bass guitar, so I'm only playing the bass guitar for maybe 3 weeks, I'd say, 2 or 3 weeks.
Serious? Brilliant, very good. Is that also like YouTube taught, just looking at chords and stuff from videos, or?
That's it, yeah. Just teaching myself and picking it up and getting the hang of it and making loads of mistakes.
Right. So what is
until it sounds right.
What does your wife say about all this here? Like, obviously, you must have so many instruments, and you're always sitting practicing and all whatever and stuff. And I'm sure there must be a few.
I drive her cracked, yeah, but I drive her bananas with all the music, and especially now with the bass guitar, all she can hear is because I play with for about 2 hours, yeah.
And she obviously,
she's a very patient woman.
I'm sure she need to meet with. So obviously, before we sort of get into the whole the bit about joining Clover, tell us a wee bit about your solo career and how you sort of first got noticed in the local gig scene.
Well, I started out gigging in Limerick with my dad. He played the accordion, as I said, and I started with him. He showed me the ropes. When I went out first to my first gig, I wouldn't even sing. I was petrified, And I learned. He told me, learn one song for next week.
Right.
And you can do that song. And I went off learning the song the whole week.
So was your dad singing originally then, was he? Was he doing the singing at the gigs?
Oh,
yeah, right, okay.
He's a singer, yeah. And so I went off all week and I learned that song, and I was petrified. I came to do it on the night, and I made a complete shite of the song, to be honest.
What song was it?
The main thing, I forget now what song it was. Probably some ballad anyway, but...
Right.
But the main thing was I sung it, and I was bitten then. So I stayed with my dad for a few years, and I gigged with him. And I went out on my own then, My thing from a very from when I started off was I wanted to be in a ballad group. I wanted to be part of a ballad group. I grew up, when I started going out on the pub scene in Limerick for the pints or whatever, I would have gone to see many ballad groups, but one ballad group in particular was my favourite, a band called the Boatmen in Limerick, you know.
The what? The Burton?
The Boatmen.
Oh, the Boatmen. Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, and to me they were a 4-piece ballad group, and to me they were just phenomenal. That's when gigging solo was not for me after that, you know, seeing them. The sounds of a 4-piece band, your bass guitar, your banjo, your tin whistle and your guitar, is just, to me, nothing can beat it to me, you know, and I wanted to be part of that. So I gigged on my own, probably trying to get noticed by somebody in Limerick, you know, to give me a shot, pick me up and give me a shot, you know.
Yep.
And I did that for a few years, and that's basically took me up to where I met Paul, you know.
Yeah. So obviously, I opened the show today with the famous Bobby Sands song, "Back Home in Derry." So that's one of the songs, obviously, from your new album, soon to be released new album, the band's second live album, live at Thomond Park. So before we go on to the interview, we're going to do another song from it. There, we'll take a wee break, and then we'll come back to the interview. So the next one we're going to do is the Ballad of Con Colbert. So tell us a bit first about who he was and what the story of the song.
Yeah, again, being in Limerick, we have a few places named after Con Colbert. You know, we have the train station is Colbert Station, and we have a place called Colbert Avenue, and we have a number of other different places. And, about 2 years ago, you know, I was just walking through the city there, and it just came into my head. I just wondered, do these people know who Con Colbert was, you know, because he really is, and we say in the band, he's an unsung hero of 1916. You know, when you hear of people speaking about 1916, they speak about Pearse and Collins and Dev and all the rest of the leaders, but you'd very seldom hear Con Colbert mentioned, you know. So I decided I was going to write a song about Con Colbert. He was a leader in the 1916 Rising, and he was born in a little place in County Limerick called Castlemahan. And I'd had been out to his house where he was born, and I kind of got a little bit of inspiration from out there. And he was executed in Kilmainham jail for his part in the 1916 Rising. And the story goes, when he was being executed, the Brits put like a white piece of ribbon or paper on his chest,
right,
for where they were going to shoot him.
Shoot the bullets, right? Okay.
And Con Colbert took the piece of ribbon and he moved it in front of his heart, and he said to the British soldiers, "Would it not be better nearer the heart?"
Seriously? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So where would they put it? Where did they put the bit of paper originally in?
They put it in the middle of his chest. Right, okay, yeah, and he moved it. And he moved it directly in front of his heart, such as the man he was, you know.
Jesus, there you go.
And so I wrote a song about Con Colbert, and out of that came the Ballad of Con Colbert.
Right. So this is it's going to be on this new CD you've released. So you haven't done this before. Would you normally do this here? Any gigs you're playing this song? Like, I mean,
we've done it at a few gigs. It's a relatively new song in the band, even though it was written a while. We hadn't done it. So about 12 months ago, from the Thomond Park gig was the first night we did it, and that night in itself was kind of a struggle to get going, you know. But we got it going in the end, and we wanted to do something a little bit different at that gig. So we did 2 original Clover songs, and that was one of them.
Right. So we'll take a break from the interview now, folks. We're going to do this song here, right, and we'll bring Peter back in once the song's finished. So this is the first of the original Clover songs from their new album, soon to be released new album, live at Thomond Park in Limerick. This is the Ballad of Con Colbert from Clover.
Again, a song written by the band, a song about one of the leaders from 1916, one of the unsung heroes of 1916.
Have a listen. was shot in Kilmainham jail in May 1916. For God and for country, for Ireland and Green. 27 years of age, he fought or died for what he was. Con Clover from West Limerick, rebel leader with a call. I'm sitting here in Clover Station on that bleak December day. Our thoughts cast to a hero who's known by few today. Forgotten hero of a pack, freedom fighter to the last. Con Colbert is a story of a leader's fighting hell. Back in 1908, Colbert joined the IOP. Tina Erin quickly followed her to set her country free. The gallant Captain Colbert, an Irish volunteer, side by side with Piercy fought the cause of the Division Day.
He was shot in Kilmainham jail in May 1916. For God and for country, for Ireland Green. 27 years of age, he fought or died for what he was. Con Clover from West Limerick, rebel leader with a cause.
Upon the 1916 rising of his soldiers' little state, commanded men at Watkins Brewery and Marlborough Lane. When they were ordered to surrender, Colbert assumed command to save the lives of his comrades for God and country home. Oh, they were marched to Richmond Barracks at Fort Marshall by the Crown. Transferred to Kilmainham jail, execution handed down. I'm proud to die for the cause, they were his final words. When I'm presented and shots fired, Colbert got his nation proud.
He was shot in Kilmainham jail in May 1916. For God and for country, for Ireland Green. 27 years of age, he fought or died for what he was. Con Colbert from West Limerick, rebel leader with a cause.
No, he was not a statesman or a man of intellect. They shot him down by firing squad, but his memory will reflect of a working class hero, a brave soldier to the fray. Captain Cornelius Colbert killed and gone he was dead.
He was shot in Kilmainham jail in May 1916. For God and for country, for Ireland Green. 27 years of age, he fought or died for what he was. Con Colbert from West Limerick, rebel leader with a cause. He was shot in Kilmainham jail in May 1916. For God and for country, for Ireland Green. 27 years of age, he fought or died for what he was. Con Colbert from West Limerick, rebel leader with a cause. Con Clover from West Limerick, rebel leader with a cause.
Yes, in the Clover there, folks, yeah, with the ballad of Con Colbert. So, are you still there, Peter, on the iron?
I am, Ro, yeah.
Happy days, not a problem. There you go, folks. That was a great track there, so it was. Of course, Peter on the vocals for that one. So, listen, before going in the next bit, obviously, you put a video up on Facebook before of playing a song, sitting busy with your dad on the accordion, and you done another one with your brother as well on the whistles. Would you like, obviously, before lockdown and all happened and whatever, would you have got together much and have a bit of a session in the house, like, or...?
Not really, no. My brother lives in Kildare, County Kildare.
Okay. Not so easy,
and so he'd come down often. When he comes down, you know, myself and my brother would have a jam, all right, you know, just on a whistle and guitar. But we never thought to record it. I think all this recording business came out of the lockdown, you know.
Yeah. So obviously, now when I had Paul Sharon on the show there last year, he described you on the interview sort of as Mr. Clover. Obviously, due to the amount of sort of work you do for the band, like on and off stage and on the social media side of things and all. So obviously, when and how? Go ahead.
I think he was too kind-hearted to say that I'm obsessed with it.
So when and sort of how did you first meet up with Paul, and sort of what happened at that sort of first sort of meeting you had, like?
So it was 2016. I came across a message that Paul had online. It was actually a friend of mine that tagged me in it, a good friend of mine who kind of knew my story and knew what I was up to and what I wanted, and he put me in contact. He just tagged me on the message, and I then sent Paul a private message telling him my story, and we met up a few days later, and we chatted for about an hour or so, or whatever it was, and I basically laid it out to him and told him what I was up to, and if he would be willing to give me a shot in the band. And so, yeah, I think we kind of clicked straight away, you know.
Yep.
We just shared the same ambition. He knew from me that I was of the same ambition of him, you know, and that makes it kind of easier to get along, you know. And so Paul gave me a shot in the band then, and we started gigging, and Trevor came in as well, and the three of us were we were all of the same mindset, you know, and we three of us clicked straight away, and we did good things, you know, in the next 12 months, you know. It was brilliant, like. So
obviously, like, I sort of make it my business to keep an ear to the ground of sort of what's happening in the rebel music scene, right? So I must say, like, you guys are like seriously one of the hardest working bands out there, because I look in the ring, you know, and I think sort of like from your stage presence, all your social media profile, you're always online, always sort of promoting stuff, whatever. I think I sort of feel like you definitely don't get the credit, or probably most importantly the big gigs that your hard work deserves. Would you sort of see it like yourselves, like, or?
Well, we don't really talk about it, you know, but we did make it our business from the start when we got together to work very hard, you know, I won't say we worked harder than everybody else, but we feel that we have to work very, very hard, you know, and never take it for granted, like. So I don't know what it was really. I mean, we never really had any major fallout, you know. We were all, as I said, we were all of the same mindset, so it was easy to do stuff, you know. Yeah. I might come up with an idea and say to the lads, I think we should do this for Facebook, or I think we should do that, or the lads will come in with something and say, we want to try doing this, and that was it really, you know. Yeah, so we never really spoke about it, but yeah, we do work, we still continue to work very, very hard at what we do, you know. We've had setbacks along the way, but we tried to get over that and just keep going no matter what hits us, you know.
Yeah, but I think, see, for such a big band, you know, he's sort of very in number. I think it is sort of hard to get gigs, obviously sort of bigger gigs. I think even the likes of the field here in West Belfast would be like a perfect gig for yourselves, you know, because I know in the past they've brought the lads down from Tipperary. What do you call them? Like the group. They done it a couple of years in a row, so they did. I can't remember their names now, but they all seem to go with like they'll go for the Wood Tones, and they'll bring over like, we had the expense of bringing like sort of like Shebeen over, or Og over, or sorry, Gary Og, all these big bands. And you're going, they're great bands, but it seems it's the same ones year on year on year on year, you know what I mean? And you're going to me and going, why don't they sort of give sort of some like a big band like yourselves and a shot at these kind of gigs, you know? Because I mean, you do have a stage presence big enough to do a gig like that there, but I think it's where a lot of these gigs here, it's more like an old boys club, you know what I mean? You have to get in there, and then if you aren't in the clique, you just don't stand a chance of getting certain gigs like this here, you know?
Yeah, we definitely do think we deserve. Yeah, not to be egotistical or anything, but we definitely do feel that we deserve the big stage gig, you know.
Yep.
Because we work so hard at it, and we do think that it will come eventually, you know. If you keep knocking at the door, it's eventually going to have to open, you know.
Yeah, hopefully it will. So usually,
hopefully is right. So, but yeah,
you've released two. So go ahead. I'll just be a bit delay there. Go ahead.
No, we don't really kind of take too much notice of it, but we just try to keep knocking at the door, you know, and try to do our best to bring out new stuff and promote what we're doing and things like that, you know, and just keep going really at what we're doing. We're very much of, like, we've had pubs going back. They would ask us, would you do a 2 or a 3 piece? But Clover as a band, very much of the idea of promoting the traditional rebel band, the 4-piece
Yes,
rebel band.
yep.
The sound of the full band, and to us nothing beats the sound of the full band, when it's playing, and no matter who it is. And you have say you played them earlier on, Kelly's Men. It's a phenomenal sound,
Yep.
the full band, and we try to promote the full band sound as well.
But I suppose it's like a financial thing as well. Obviously, it's a big ask for maybe like a wee sort of a small bar to bring in a band of maybe 4 or 5 people.
So that's it. That's it as well. Then you have to take the bad with the good then as well. So you're not going to get the small bar gig because they can't afford, and especially with this lockdown, like ourselves. So.
Terrible, it. So you have previously released 2 albums, a studio album and then the live album, live at the Heart Bar in Cork. So before this sort of second lockdown, you were well on your way to recording your second studio album, right? And after sort of COVID has put a halt to that now for the time being. So you have decided to release your second live album, which was the gig you did in Thomond Park. Was that last year, was it?
Yeah.
It was recorded?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did the Thomond Park gig at the very end of 2019, and we had the show recorded, not to put it out as a CD straight away, but just to have it, because it was our very first ticket gig that we did, solo ticket gig on our own, and we said we'd record it, if we ever wanted to release it. And what happened then, of course, with the lockdown and everything else, and we were on our way to finishing our new studio album, but like the studio that we are recording the album in, the man would have a couple of health issues as well. So, and again, being a 4-piece band, it's hard to get together. So we couldn't we can't finish that now until things get back to some sort of normal. But we had a chat and we decided, right, let's have a go at putting out Thomond Park. And that's where we're at the moment.
Obviously, so firstly, tell me how far along you are on with the new studio album, and obviously then a wee bit about, just tell us a wee bit actually about the Thomond Park gigs. I know, as you said, that was something you've done yourselves, and it was the Rogues as well, wasn't it, played that night, wasn't it, with long stages, or?
No, that gig was just ourselves on our own.
Oh, okay, right.
It came after the Limerick Ballad Fest, and we decided that we were going to try and have a solo ticket gig on our own. So we set out to. We didn't want to be too overly ambitious with the gig, because we were fearful that it would fall flat on its face.
Yep.
So we set out with 100 tickets for the show, and within a week or two, those 100 tickets were sold. But we stuck with that then. So on the night itself, there was about 120 people, which was a nice crowd, for our first gig. And there was 120 people at the gig, and I mean, it was a struggle even because we are a known rebel band, I don't mean known as in, well, no, I mean, we are known to be rebel, it was hard to get a venue to take us, because it's, I don't know if it's because it was rebel music or whatever other reason it was, but getting a venue was a bit of a struggle, but we did eventually get the venue, of course, and we put on the show, and it was sold out.
Was that in some kind of marquee or something? Was it? You had that in? I mean, is that just a permanent structure there?
No, it's in the Shannon Rugby Club in Thomond Park in Limerick.
Right. Okay. No, so it looked maybe from the video. Is that the same venue that had the Limerick Ballad Fest in? Then is it the same? It looked to me like
the marquee is at the back of the stadium, so that it's a different venue. We had it in the actual club. It's in the club itself in Thomond Park.
Right, no problem. So, talking about actually the new studio album, you have sort of you're into it already. So, how far along are you on with it? Is it almost finished, or is there still a couple of tracks that are recorded for it?
About 3/4 the way through, really, but it's nowhere near ready to go out yet. So hopefully we're going to get it out now. In the next couple of months, but we'll see how this lockdown goes. We can get together. It could be the summer now at this stage, but we really don't know. It's hard to plan anything at the moment. Now it's just on hold, and that's it, really.
So is the second live album, Live a Thumb, is that ready to go now? He is getting ready to put on a CD to go out anytime now, or what's?
Yeah, that should be out by the end of the month.
Happy days, brilliant.
The Thomond Park CD.
Great.
Yeah.
I have to say, because you sent me a few songs, man. The quality of the recording is excellent. So it is. As I know, I'd spoken to Paul before about the one you've done in the Heart Bar, and you weren't really particularly happy with it, with the sound and stuff on the night. But I think that for this here one here, the quality of it is excellent. So it is.
Yeah, like the Harp Bar CD did very well for us, and it's a great night and a great album, and it has been very good to us. But we constantly try to improve things, and we think the recording from Thomond Park is a good quality, ourselves. But again, we're always self-critical, but we feel in saying that we feel it could be better, but. No, we think it's quite good, and we think it was good enough to put out as a CD, and especially with the 2 original tracks, it makes it a little bit different to other CDs, So it was a bit of a risk, but we said, here goes, we'll try it with nothing to lose,
So what is next in line then for Clover as a band? Sort of, if we do eventually get out of this, fucking, if or when, like we'll get back to normal, like it's up in the air, like what's. He's got any sort of big plans for anything, or?
Well, everything is kind of on hold now at the moment. We don't know what the plan is. Like our diary was wiped, so we'll have to try and get that back on track when things come back. We feel it's going to take a while. We personally feel we won't play any major number of gigs this year.
It's shocking, mate.
Because when bars do come back, for a 4-piece band, they're not going to have the money to pay us.
Of course, yeah. I know.
So we feel that we'll be lucky to play this year. So it'll be. We don't know. Honestly, we don't have an answer to that. Really, we honestly don't know. So we have a couple of things going. We're going to concentrate on some recordings and just promoting stuff online and things like that. That's all anybody can do really at the moment.
Right. So listen, obviously. I know you were sort of looking forward to this bit, right, of the interview. Sort of we'll do the 10 questions round. I don't always do this with all the guests, so count yourself lucky. I'm bringing in only the people I like. I'm only joking, right? So this is just a bit of crack, right? So there's nothing too serious. So each question has like 2 possible answers. So we can give a wee bit of info on why you picked each answer, right?
Okay.
So first one, right? Declan Hannon or Donald O'Sullivan?
Declan Hannon. Yeah. To see him lifting the Liam McCarthy Cup twice in my lifetime is something I'll never forget. So he's our captain, fantastic.
Right, so Christy Moore or Luke Kelly?
Luke Kelly. Luke Kelly is my idol. It's no secret. He's the king to me. There's nobody better. Nobody will ever be better than Luke Kelly, in my opinion.
Did you ever try and pick up a banjo yourself, like?
We give Paul a bit of stick for playing the banjo, so I'd be a bit hypocritical if I was to pick up the banjo. So no, I leave that to Paul. He does it very well. So
right, okay. Right, so hurling or football?
Hurling.
And when I say football, folks, I mean like Gaelic football, not soccer, as people outside of the GAA would call it, So definitely a hurling man, like. So we'll take it. Yeah. Would Limerick definitely be a sort of more a hurling county than the football? Like?
It would be. Our house is all hurling, and and Limerick in general. Even though there is a football team there, Limerick is very much. There's a lot of sports, but it would be a hurling county. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a bit like Antrim as well. We've sort of this year or come in the end of last year, we're jumped up a league, and the hurling is definitely hopefully brighter times.
Antrim have done very well. Yeah, very well.
We'll just need to get back to Casement Park, so we get the thing built, and then that might get the bumpers on a bit. For God's sake,
it was great. It was great to see. It was great to see them lifting the trophy. Brilliant.
Oh, I definitely, especially at Croker as well. Like, But I think that their day there annoyed me. But see, whenever the cut off, whenever the Antrim captain was starting to do his speech, so they were.
Oh yeah, they did that.
So
they did that
disrespectful.
They did that with the Munster final as well. When Declan Hannon, they cut off the speech, but. I think they knew better then in the All Ireland, they left it on. So
right, so guitars, Taylor or Martin?
I don't own either, but for sound for sound quality, I'd have to go with Martin, I suppose. Yeah,
right. Okay.
The obvious choice. I don't own either. I have my guitars are all 20 and 30 years old, so there's a bit of history behind them. So, but I will go with Martin, purely for sound.
Right. So probably a stupid one. This one, Thulman Park or the Gaelic grounds?
The Gaelic grounds. Oh, come on. Yeah.
So, would you be a big fan of the rugby? Would you ever go to any of the games up there? Like, I mean, it's a fantastic stadium. So it is, like.
I've been to it quite a few times, yeah, and the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic for the rugby. I do like the rugby, but the hurling is my baby, I love it.
Right, okay.
Nothing beats 45,000 people in the Gaelic grounds on match day, and especially having played at Thurman Park for the homecoming in front of 40,000 people, then it's the Gaelic grounds, definitely, yeah.
Right, so number 6, red sauce in the fridge or in the cupboard, Monday.
I'll be looking forward to this one, though. Right. in the fridge, man, always.
I actually we had dinner the other night and I put it in the fridge, and let he come back an hour later and it was back in the cupboard, and she was like, "What have I told you? Telling you it doesn't go in the..." I says, "Look at it. It says on it, once opened, keep refrigerated." That's disgusting.
In the fridge, and brown sauce in the fridge as well, Ro.
Oh, I don't do brown sauce, so I wouldn't.
Definitely in the fridge. And anyone that says any different, nah.
That's it, man.
Hang your head in shame.
Right. The Wolf Tones or the Dubliners?
Oh God. Jeez, I don't know. Can I plead a fifth on that one? No.
Nope. You have to pick one.
Okay. Jeez, I would have to pick the Dubliners.
Right, okay. Any particular song?
Because of Luke Kelly,
right.
It's been such an inspiration to me, and I saw one of the best gigs I ever saw was one of the last gigs that the Dubliners did. It was their 50th anniversary gig. Bernie McKenna was there, and he died shortly after. And it was one of the best gigs, I have to say, that I ever saw live. So, as regards songs, Dubliner songs, I couldn't pick one really, but
I think it's just a shame with Luke Kelly. Like, see, for somebody Dan so young, like it's like the voice the guy had, like it's just terrible.
The Night Visiting song would be one of my favourite songs, I suppose.
Right, okay. Right, so we're near the end here. So, champ or mash?
We don't really do champ down this side of the country, It's got onions in it, has it? Or,
yeah. It's like spring onions or scallions, they call them.
Yeah. No.
Seriously?
No, I wouldn't be a fan, though, to be honest, so I'd have to go with mashed here.
Right, okay. Right. Field Marshal Montgomery or St. Lawrence O'Toole?
O'Toole is for sure. Dublin band. Great to see a band from the south of Ireland win the World Championships a couple of years ago. Yeah, St. Lawrence O'Toole is 100%.
Yeah.
But Field Marshal, they're a phenomenal outfit. Richard Parks is just a legend in the pipe band scene. He's phenomenal. He really is, and what he's done with the band is incredible.
So I know like the BBC used to always show out there the World Championships, or I don't know if it was the Irish Championships every year, and I would always watch it. They'd always get recorded and sitting, and like although like I didn't really particularly like any of the music they played, I just loved the whole thing of the dressage and the way they stood in the big circle and sort of the drumming. I just always loved the drumming or the pipe bands, like so it's just so technical. So it is like.
I've been to the World Championships a few times in Glasgow, and it's a phenomenal weekend. You're not sober for 4 days, but it's a phenomenal weekend, though.
Right. See, there you go. That's it. To me, like pipe bands, I would say it's like a real conservative sort of thing, not like a bunch of thugs. Like if us went away with a flute band for the weekend, but somebody end up in jail and probably whatever else to get lifted, and where you're saying like probably the same. Like it's just you get rid of for 4 days. Like
definitely. You go to Glasgow and the competition itself is fantastic, and just to see the man's, but the crack is in the bars,
Of course, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a bar there opposite. I forget the name of it now, but it's opposite the Piping Centre in Glasgow, and it's the smallest bar. And I mean, I don't know if you've experienced a full pipe band in a small bar. The sound is to say deafening is an understatement, but in that it's just phenomenal.
Yeah,
like, blow the roof off, and it's absolutely brilliant.
When they had the the 1916 commemorations in Dublin, there was a couple of pipe bands from New York actually come over to play in the parade.
Yeah.
And I remember we were in the play at a bar somewhere after the parade, and there was a pipe band as well, and it was only a wee pokey, and like literally like the noise of like even like
they do that, you know. You try to squeeze as many pipers into the smallest place possible, you know. It's brilliant. It's absolutely it's an experience. It really is.
Right. So last one here. So Galtymore or Ballyhura?
Ballyhura, I suppose, is near my home, so yeah, I would pick that one.
Right. Okay. So actually, we're talking about two mountains, folks. If you don't know what I'm thinking. It's have you walked both of them, like, or sort of?
I've walked Ballyhura a couple of times. Yeah, I've been trying to get fit the last while, so I've done a few.
Aye.
I kind of went offline now with COVID, but I'll try to get back into it again, you know.
Yeah, that's it, mate. So listen, Peter, we're going to wrap it up here. So listen, you've been brilliant, great sport. So before we finish up the interview, we're going to play the second original Clover song, right? That's going to be in the new live album. So this one's called Bloodshed in the Valley. So obviously Paul's on vocals for this one. So tell us a wee bit about this track here then.
Bloodshed in the Valley is a song telling the story of an ambush that was set up in County Limerick, Knockneven, and it was basically the Limerick brigades of the IRA set out to ambush a cycling patrol of the British Army that were known as the Green Howards. And they set up the ambush that day, and to their surprise, they were expecting to ambush the cycling patrol, but to their surprise, three Crossley tenders and an armoured car full of British troops showed up and basically attempted to wipe out the Limerick brigades of the IRA. So that the song tells the story of that. I think the fight went on for nearly 2 days, but for four men who stayed behind to carry on the fight, all of the Limerick brigades would have been wiped out, you know. So that Bloodshed in the Valley tells that story.
Right, fantastic. So listen, Peter, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Thanks very much for having us on, Ro, and thanks for all of the support that you've given us. It's been absolutely fantastic, so it's greatly appreciated. So thanks again.
So saying, you know, we might actually meet each other one of these days, whenever this all.
Yeah, definitely. We feel like we know you for years. You know, but we haven't met, so hopefully, you know, we'll get to meet at some stage.
Yes. So listen, Peter, thank you very much, folks. I was Peter there, O'Connell from Clover. So this is the second of the original songs from Clover's soon-to-be new released live album, live at Thomond Park. So this is the Bloodshed in the Valley. That lasts about 7 minutes, but get into it and enjoy it, folks. Here we go.
Thank you very much, boys and girls. Well, we were thinking all along, what would we do to this gig to try and make it a little bit different from a gig maybe that you might see down in a bar somewhere. Tonight what we're going to do is we're going to sing two original Clover songs written by the band ourselves that we've never played at a gig before, so hopefully you like them. This song is a song about an ambush that took place between a place called Mitchellstown and Kildorrery, a small little crossroads called Knockneven. Three brigades of the Limerick IRA were there on the day. Set up an ambush in a place called Knockneven. Who they were trying to ambush was cycling patrol of the British Army called the Green Howards.
Overlooking a valley green, there's a monument. It's standing tall for Ireland to see, where brave men fought the black and tans, and where marks still can be seen. Their 4 men died for orange, white and green. The people, they lived in fear of the Howards reign. As on their way they raped and robbed, shot men working in the fields. They did not care for the people then,
Shaky led them well, on their bicycles they were keen. Their orders were to terrorize our land peaceful and serene. But on the 1st of May they were nowhere to be seen. Plans were drawn and our men they marched down to that valley green, to rid our land of Shaky and his team. With dreams of freedom in their hearts and the rifle in their hands, on the hill of Strala our men would make their stand. The trap was being set, panic it filled the air. Engines rumbled through the glen, black and tans were everywhere. 6 crossly tenders on an armoured car broke the silence of the day. With 2 human shields, how did they know? Or can you ever say? On a hillside where wildflowers grow, overlooking a valley green, there is a monument standing tall for Ireland to see, where brave men fought black and tans, where marks still can be seen. Their 4 men died for orange, white and green. The 1st of May 1921 in Knocknevan ambush lay. 4 men stepped forward to hold the line, so their comrades might see another day. 2 hours the battle raged against all odds, 4 men fought a full platoon. Machine gun fire, it filled the glen, nearly caught the valley in 2. But as the clock ticked on, well, 1 by 1, what a price they would have to pay. Oren, Casey, Hennessy and Starr. Freedom fighters they fell, but 2 would see a cell, as wounded, not yet dead. Give us the names of your comrades, those words followed by a blow. But British torture would be in vain, for these men would not bring shame to dead comrades they knew they'd be seeing soon. Today as you pass on your way, take the time to look across at that monument standing there. It really won't take long, and think of the lives they're lost. That was freedom's cost, and 6 counties too that still call me and you. It's really not all lost. In our land today, it's hard to see a way to stay on freedom's path. But soon we'll be united and free, and peace will fill our lands. On a hillside where wildflowers grow, overlooking a valley green, there's a monument standing tall for Ireland to see, where brave men fought black and tans, and where marks still can be seen, where 4 men died for orange, white and green. There 4 men died for orange, white and green.
Yes, folks, so we're going there. The brilliant Clover from County Limerick with The Bloodshed in the Valley, another original song written by the band with Paul Sheeran on lyrics that time. And we had the Ballad of Con Colbert up first, and then we started the show, of course, with Back Home in Derry. 3 songs that are going to be on Clover's new album, soon to be released very, very soon. Their second live album as a band. And that was recorded live at Thomond Park in Limerick. I think it's just the end 2019, folks. For just support the band, folks, obviously, because everything's happening now. Everything's up in the air. All these bands really rely on their merchandise sales. So when you see the CD coming out, please support it with the band. We much appreciate it. Right, so folks, we are here to 4 o'clock, so another hour and 10 minutes or so. Don't worry. Sarah Poland, great interview, loved it. Thank you, Peter and Ro. Not a problem, Sarah. Steph McNally says the interview's off to a flyer for 2021. Happy days. Clover played in my local about 2 years ago. Brilliant night. Son of Era 1916, brilliant show as always. Ro, thanks. Folks, just put through, somebody is a few people have already sent me through a few donations just to the show. So if you want to, we much appreciate it, say, just to keep the show going if you can. So just if you want to throw something in, just to PayPal, it's just paypal.me /DJ Ro Show. I'll put the wee link up there in the comments, folks, be able to see them. If you can throw something in, it'd be much appreciated. Thanks. Martin Heaney, excellent interview. Rowan Peter, happy days. Joseph Agnew, hi, Brill Show from Ayrshire, hail, hail. Hugh Neal, can you give us a shout out to Stephen McLean from Inverness. Edo Dockerty, great song, Pete, and live recording sounds very, very good. So that's us caught up, folks. Right, so what we're going to do now is we'll go to an Irish Brigade song. And actually we were talking last week about some of the sort of parody songs that Jerry had done over the years. I just seen Emer as well. It's just jumped in there. Happy days, Emer. Great to have you on again. Great gig the other night. Not bad for a culture. I'm only slaying you. You say you're a townie, but there in my eyes, say past the M2 here in Belfast and you're a culture. So you are. Yep, so we're going to do an Irish Brigade song. This is way old, this one. This is from 10 Years on the Run, in the album. So it's a song called Downing Street, and Jared Clacken put me onto this one. We were talking about a few of the songs last week. I think I've done My Old Man and what was the other one? Brixton Busters. We were just sort of comparing them to the songs the tunes they originally came from, and how they ended up as them 2 Irish Brigade songs. So this one here is called Downing Street, and I think it's, in sort of Jared's words, it's his favourite parody song of his dad's ones. So folks, yep. Before going as well, Adele has just sent me a video. So we have Dave there listening, Darcy's Bar in York, and I hear that looks like a fantastic venue there. At the bar in your own house. I've seen a few of your videos and pictures of Adele. Martin, looks fantastic. I had to get up there over that way for a few pints. So, yep, this is the Irish Brigade on Rebel Sundays here with Downing Street from the album 10 Years on the Run, Volume 7.
Often seen Downing Street before, but the pavement never shook beneath my feet before. Now as I walk by, I see mortars fly. I'm glad it's not Downing Street where I live. Are there provosts here in this part of town? Can they operate within the heart of London town? Now at number 10, it's like Cross McGlen. I'm glad it's not Downing Street where I live. And oh, the cowering feeling as bombs start dropping so near. Brick showering down from the ceiling, and any second you might suddenly disappear. Mr. Nature and your war cabinet. Oh, they tell me that you haven't quite recovered yet. If you think it's bad, you should be in Baghdad and not in Downing Street where you live. The cards were stacked against a bomb attack, for they feared retaliation would come from Iraq. But the PLO did not strike the blow. The provost blitzed Downing Street where you live. And oh, the cowering feeling as bombs start dropping so near. Bricks showering down from the ceiling, and any second you might suddenly disappear. Mr. Major and all your Tory friends, don't you see how close you came to meeting with your end? Don't you understand? While you hold Ireland, it's not safe down the street where you live. If we get smart bombs from the USA, we will send them gift wrap to you from the IRA. And then number 10 won't be seen again. There'll be no Downing Street where you live. There'll be no Downing Street where you live.
Yep, that's the sin of the Irish Brigade there, folks. With Downing Street. Cheers, Jared Lacken, for sending me that one, because I couldn't find that one on YouTube when somebody asked for it there last week, and Jared mentioned it. So the reason I just laughed there, Steph McNally says, it's like the Irish Brigade versus the Mavericks. Definitely had a guitar-y sort of sound there. He just puts them all with the big hats on, doing the Irish Brigade shuffle, doing that there song. Clover, Limerick, Ireland, yeah, thanks very much. So happy days. Cheers, Peter, for coming on. Sammy Marshall, loving that one there. Brian Taggart says, alright, Ro, have a great weekend. Friday night, Emer, and yourself on a Sunday. You can't beat it. Keep up the great work. Thank you, mate. Well, it's due for you. All these people tune in. That's what it's all about. So it is. Fran O'Donnell, Irish Brigade, best band ever. Not a better, truer statement spoke. Emer Rebel or Emer Graham. Yep, just give me a few wee tractor emojis and probably a slap in the face if I was ever saying it now. Yeah, she shared their page. Happy days, Emer. Thank you very much. Right, so what are we going to do next here? Right, so we album I brought on last week that a great that finally found again was for all these South Derry Wands group called Celtic Rogue, who are no longer obviously going the road, but they had a great CD they released when they were going, called Down by the Glenside. So again, cheers to Marty Higgins for getting me the CD sent up, because it was for a project my dad was looking at one particular song out of it. So I sort of copied it onto the laptop and I have it here now. So I'm going to do one of the songs from that album. It's a brilliant album, so it is. This one here, the song we're going to do now is, let's see, what one did I pick? Now, where are we? Yep, Spansel Hill. It's a great version, like a really great recording this here album, so it is. So somebody asked for Spansel Hill at the end of last week's show, and I would have to go into the comments and go right at the end and look for it, but I can't remember. So if you're still listening today, we'll dedicate this one to you. So this is the Celtic Rogue from South Derry, from the album Down by the Glenside, which is no longer available, folks. So, because a few people did ask me last week, sent me a message saying, because where can you buy this CD? You can't bet anymore, as far as I know. So this is A great bit of history here for you. For you want something, South Derry, Balacky, Macara Felt, Macara, all everywhere. So yep, this is Spansel Hill.
Last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, me mind was bent on rambling to Ireland I to fly. I stepped on board a vision and I followed with the wind. At last I came to anchor at the cross of Spansel Hill. 'Twas on the 23rd of June, the day before the fair, when Ireland's sons and daughters and friends assembled there. The young, the old, the brave and the bold came their duty to fulfill at the parish church at Clover, a mile from Spansel Hill. I went to see my neighbours to hear what they might say. The old ones were all dead and gone, the young ones turning grey. I met the tailor quickly, he's as bold as ever still. Sure he used to fix my breeches when I lived in Spansel Hill. Jesus white as honey lily and gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me saying, Johnny, I love you still. Sure she is the farmer's daughter, the pride of Spansel Hill. I dreamt I held and kissed way in days of yore. Sure, Johnny, you're only joking, like many's a time before. The cock, he crew in the morning, sure he crew both loud and shrill. When I woke in California, many miles.
Yeah, it's in the Spansel Hill there for you, from the Celtic Rogue from South Derry, and it's the first time I listened to that song there on the album, right through, and heard the drumming coming through in the middle of it. It's actually one of the guys in the flute band. I wonder who that there was. If there's any of you listening from South Derry, let me know. Great, just to be there. I know that's one of the songs the flute band plays, Spansel Hill, like, and I think they just played it the way they would normally play it when they do on the road. Fantastic here. It was a bit unexpected. Marty Heaney, it's just been said there, I'm back at Emer on this one. Get off us culties backs. Marty, now you're a full on Westie now, so you are. Come on, you know you're the original culty, like, but you're a full on Westrock, White Rock Gardens Westie now, so you've been here for long enough. Hugh O'Neill, Rowe, can you give us a big shout out to Jolene and Stevie? Yep, so Jolene and Stevie listening in, happy days, thank you very much. Right, so up next, folks, we're here till 4 o'clock, so another about 50 minutes or so. Any of your requests you have at all, get them in, and I'll probably get any songs you want, because we're on YouTube, so there's no chance of being cut off now. Thankfully, we aren't on the dreaded Facebook anymore, so any songs you want, get them requested through. Any shout outs, whatever you want, and I'll get them on, not a problem. We're here at 4, so up next from another talking about South Derry, we're going to move on the Derry city itself, and one of the greatest probably singers to move over the last few years. Of course, talking about Krista Coyle, who released her debut album there, From the Streets of Free Derry, a couple of months ago, and I've been a big supporter of Krista on the podcast here. She's been on, well, 1.5 times, so she has. Marty Heaney, or I'm a culty at heart. Aye, well, suppose you never you lose that culty voice, you won't. So yeah, we're going to my favourite songs, all know what it is, Willie and Danny. Of course, talking about the ballad of William Fleming, Danny Doherty, who were gunned down up in the Grantia Hospital there, so they were. So yeah, this one's Krista Coyle, From the Streets of Free Derry. This is Rebel Sundays, folks, with myself, Roe, till 4 o'clock. This is the ballad of Willie and Danny.
Tired of seeing this place run down. I said, take your blindfolds off, you hypocrites, and help get us off the ground. And please say it isn't so. Well, Willie and Donnie, they had a shots between their bodies. Not one of those bullets had missed. And that's for every trigger that we pulled that morning. A volunteer will enlist. And for 5 long hours they left them lying there. The priest, he was turned away. And that's another step lower for those SAS bastards. We'll never forget that day. And please say it isn't so. Well, Willie and Donnie, they had to go. The reason's very clear. They're laying down their lives for us year after year.
we go. Our Krista Coyle there, or Christina as I like to call her, she hates being called Christina. There's Willie and Danny from her debut, brilliant, fantastic debut album, From the Streets of Free Derry. And my young Matthew McElhatton was the lucky winner of that one there. His mummy Lisa sent me the picture up last week. So yep, he was the first one through with his Christmas jumper on. Of course, he had his Emer Rebel Christmas jumper on. Of course, all them McElhatton lads. So fair play to you. Hope you enjoy the CD. So, right, Martin Heaney says, I'll forgive you if you play Emer's version of Farewell to Blackie. Right, well, we'll see. Scott Temperley, will you play Bloodstained Bandage? David Tempest Mitchell, great show again, Ro. Any chance of anything by Chris Carney, please? Not a problem. Right, so Gavin, looks like, is that Gavin McFalone? Hi, Ro, I did the whistle and also the wee drumming solo in Celtic Rogue Way back in the day. There you go. See, you put the word out and asked who that was, and he's straight on. Yep. Great show, by the way. Gavin, thank you very much. Fantastic there. Saying, I didn't know there was any of the flute band drumming in that song, in that album at all, until I listened through to it there. So there you go, you learn something new every day. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for listening, thanks for commenting as well. So Liam Hall, great show, Rose, something from The Price of Justice. Finally get on, Liam, and saying then, absolutely fantastic. Right, so we'll get something on from The Price of Justice, not a problem, for the mother and father-in-law over in Glencolin there very soon. Right, we're going to do this one time from the CD that Marty Heaney won. The Stories of the Land CD, cracking CD, folks. Kicking on a bit, but get yourself a copy. It's brilliant. This time it's another Christy Moore song, the Go Move Shift. And again, this time it's Marty Healy again on the vocals. This one, and it's a bit different, but I love the wee drumming bit in this here. And when Ron McDonald sent to me, he says you'll love the drumming in this song. So yeah, well, it's great. So yeah, definitely did when I first heard it. So here we go. This is Marty Healy. Marty Healy with. Go Move Shift from the Stories of the Land, the Shanaghy Sessions. This is Rebel Sundays, folks. Here we go.
Born in the middle of the afternoon on the horse-drawn carriage in the old A5. The big 12-wheeler shook me bed. You can't stay here, the policeman said. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go move shift. Born in the common by a building site where the ground was rotted by the trail of wheels. Local Christian said to me, you'll lower the price of property. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go move shift. Born in the back of a hawthorn hedge where the black hole frost lay on the ground. No eastern kings came bearing gifts, instead the order came to shift. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go move shift. The eastern sky was full of stars, and one shone brighter than the rest. The wise men came so stern and strict and brought the orders to evict. You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go move shift. Wagon, tent or trailer born last month, last year in the far off days. Born here or 1,000 miles away, there's always men nearby who'll say you better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go move shift. Move along, get along, move along, get along. Go move shift.
Fantastic, our Marty Healy for you on the Stories of the Land album with Go Move Shift. Fantastic. Who else do we have here? Right, so a few people actually sent me messages on Facebook saying they're listening to the show but they can't comment. So listen, what you need to do is if you want to comment, you basically need to be signed in to YouTube. So you do. So if you don't have a Google Mail email address, very simple, folks. Just go to gmail.com, so it's just gmail.com, and set up an email address for yourself from Gmail. And then once you go back, and it takes 5 minutes. Once you go back into YouTube, in the right hand corner, you sign in with your Gmail. Obviously, it'll give you like a username. And there you go, and then you can start commenting on the show, so you can. So there's loads. I know there's loads of people watching here. It mightn't look like there's that many watching live. There's loads watching live that aren't signed in. So the watching now, but status only tells you how many like watching that are signed in viewers, you know. But yeah, folks, again, loads of people registered during the week, and signed up to the show. So thank you very much for all the support. Right, so we're going to say. Marley Heaney here, yep, brilliant album, brilliant song, definitely is, mate. So Liam Hall asked me to say, can play something from the Price of Justice album. Yeah, so this is Kathleen Largy with a flying column. This time we're going to Our Lads in Crumlin Road Jail.
In Ireland's fight for freedom, boys, the North has played its part. Though the day has still to come, we've never yet lost heart. For we'll fight it out until the end. We'll fight for we cannot fail. We know we'll win, although they have our lads in Crumlin jail. We gave to Erroll and Roe, we gave her Shane O'Neill. Tone and Cahill made a vow that England still can feel. John McKelvey did not die in vain, he too drove home unnamed. But that's another reason why they keep our lads in Crumlin jail. Lately two great Ardine men, the Markets and the Falls, from Ballymurphy and Sharkstrand, they're inside those grey walls. No fear had they for razor guns, and Fred had no avail. But that's another reason why they keep our lads in Crumlin jail. Keep on the fight, you volunteers, for God is on our side. Jail can't break a spirit brave, they just as soon have died. For England knows and England hates the fearless Northern Gale. And that's another reason why they keep our lads in Crumlin jail. And that's another reason why they keep our lads in Crumlin jail.
A cold May morn was breaking over Dublin's weary town. 16 brave men have fallen to the rifles of the crown, because they loved their country and served it night and day. But before they faced the rifles, this is what those boys did say: take away the blood-stained bandage from off an Irish brow. We fought and bled for Ireland, and we will not shirk it now. We have held her in her struggle, in answer to her call. And because we sought to free her, we our place against the wall. Ned Daly, Euston, Culbert, MacDonagh and MacBride, MacDermott and the brothers Kent, with Clark and Plunkett died. McMallen-Pat and Bree Pierce, Mahan and Tien, and the last of all James Connery, this message to them send: take away the blood-stained bandage from off an Irish brow. We fought and bled for Ireland, and we will not shirk it now. We upheld her in her struggle, in answer to her call, and because we sought to free her, we are placed against the wall. Take away the blood-stained bandage from off an Irish brow. We fought and bled for Ireland, and we will not shirk it now. We upheld her in her struggle, in answer to her call, and because we sought to free her, we are placed against the wall.
Yeah, the son of the Wolfhound there, bloodstained bandies, and it was especially for Scott Temperley, great friend, listener to the show. And it's fourth there we had Kathleen Largy in the flying column with what song was played? Crumlin Road Jail for Liam Hall, the father-in-law there, over listening to Glen Collin now. Thank you very much. So Celine just said, amazing today, great song choices, love the interview. So see, I'm hoping to have Maeve Walsh on the show with the next interview, hopefully. Not next week, the week after. I'm just sort of talking to her now, so hopefully if she can get back to me, we'll get that sorted. But if not, we'll have another few interviews lined up. So see, the way we're doing the interviews is we'll do 1 week where it's just me, just all the music, and then 1 week we'll do the interviews. So if there's anybody who's want to hear folks on the show, let me know, and I'll maybe see if I can get in contact with them. But say loads of great interviews lined up for the next few months. So I have Joseph McGowan says, any info on Kathleen? Where was she from? Grew up listening to her music? I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know if she was from around Belfast. There was a really good article on Phoblack. If you just Google it, actually, just put in the question you were looking for, and there was a great story Patter Whelan read about her. But I was sort of looking there just to go into the whole interview. But it's on Google there now. So you can look into that there, mate, and you can get the info you're looking for. Michael McAdam, Patriot Game Row if possible. Right, I'll look into that. Not a problem, mate. Mick. Right, so what we'll do next. So Marty Heaney, it said, forgive me for calling them a culture, but do Emer's version of Farewell to Balaka. Yep, so we'll do it now, mate, not a problem. So this is, I know Emer's listening in there as well. So this is from her first album, or first live album. I know she's talking about doing a second one in Derry, whenever the lockdown eases and we'll go back out to the bars again. So this is Emer's tune, or Dad's tune, Farewell to Balaka, which of course more known as McElwee's Farewell, all about Thomas McElwee from South Derry. So from Marty Heaney, yes, one spicy view, South Derry at heart, mate, and you'll never, you may be a Westie right now, but you'll always be a proud South Derry man. So spicy view and Lane listening today. This is McElwee's Farewell from Emer McLaughlin.
Farewell to Balahi, like White Tambladore and the green hills of Derry, this I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my dark age blocks in. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. For hundreds of years now we've kept up the fight, and the history book told me of Ireland's plight. With Francis and Dominic, I followed the call to conquer the tyrants and defy England's laws. So farewell to Balahi, so farewell to Balahi, like White Tambladore and the green hills of Derry, I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my dark age locked cell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. Through the hills of South Derry we marched and we drilled to our exploits and action. All Irish youth thrilled, most feared men in Ulster, volunteers on the run. We give England her answer from the bars of our guns. So farewell to Balahi, likewise Sam the Dove, and the green hills of Derry, South Derry, that I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my dark age blocked cell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. Oh, gallant South Derry, you're forever blessed in your struggle for freedom. You've given your best. There's shoes and there's faces, both Sheridan and Lee, and inscribed with their names now. Who? Brave Tom McAwee. So farewell to Balahi, so farewell to Balahi. Likewise Tam the Dove, and the green hills of Derry, that I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my dark age locked cell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you one more time farewell to Balahi. So farewell to Balahi, likewise Tam the Dove, and the green hills of Derry, that I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my dark age blocked cell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. The brave Tom McAwee there.
Hungry feeling came o'er me stealing, and the mice were squealing in my prison cell, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Well, to begin the morning, a screw was falling. Get up, you bowsy, and clean up yourself. And the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Well, the screw was peeping as Just because he was sleeping, he was dreaming about his lovely girl Sam and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Up in the female prison, there were 75 women and amongst them, sure I wish I did well. And the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. All along the banks of the Royal Canal. I met my love by the Gassier wall. I dreamed a dream by the old canal, and I kissed my girl where she likes it most, 'cause it's a dirty old town. It's a dirty old town. While clouds are drifting all across the moon, cats are prowling all along their beats, and the spring's a girl for on the streets at night. 'Cause it's a dirty old town. 'Cause it's a dirty old town. And I heard a siren coming from the docks. Saw a train set the night on fire, and I smelled the spring from the smoky wind. 'Cause it's a dirty old town. 'Cause it's a dirty old town. Well, I'm going to make me a picture wax, shining steel, tempered in the fire. Well, I'll chop you down like an old dead tree. It's a dirty old town. It's a dirty old town. Yes, it's a dirty old town. It's a dirty old town.
There we go. That was a bit abrupt there. That was Chris Carney there. I was too busy reading something on Facebook here on my phone. It was Chris Carney there with the other triangle and then the dirty old town. So who asked me there to play a bit of Chris Carney? Just check up here. Somebody asked me in the comments there and say I've been trying to get through all of the requests today, folks. So not a problem. Where are you? Right, let's see. Can't find it. Who was that there? Oh, there he is there. David Tempest Mitchell. Yeah, great show again. Any Chance Anything by Chris Carney. So you go. That's from Chris's studio album. And it's Il Triangle. Fantastic version of that song. So it is. And then straight in the dirty old town. So just found out Rangers got a penalty here. Penalty, of course, it should never have happened. But they missed it. Tavernier. He missed a penalty. Jesus Christ. There we go. Sound like others on. Well, James, good to see you on, mate. Eventually, you're in. Just looking on here on Facebook, I have to say, Martin McNally has just posted up that his mother has passed away. So, condolences to Martin, and of course, we Mickey as well. Very, very sorry to hear that there, folks, unfortunately. So, R.I.P. Rosie, indeed. She fought a very good life till the end there. Back in the day, I've seen Pete Ferns post here as well. All bars allowed to open on the 30th of February. Who's that come from? Is that anybody else has seen that there? My ears just perked up when I seen that there, so they did. So, what are we going to do next? Right, somebody asked me for Billy Reid earlier on there, so at the way at the start of the show, where were you? Who asked for this one? Was it Steph asked me for Billy Reid? Or Mick McAdam. I think it was Mick McAdam, yeah. Asked me for Billy Reid. So we'll do this one from an album that got sent up to me there last week. It wasn't the post. So it's another guy in the Doherty. So he's an album called, sorry folks for just reading something there, called The Celtic Knight. And of course he has his own band, The Celtic Knights, but this one here is his album, his solo album, and so it's all rebel, so it's fantastic, so it is. So we'll do this one of his album, yeah, in the Doherty, The Celtic Knight. This of course was recorded in Styx's studio up there in Strabane, folks. So if any of you want to get and record a song, even do a music video, get on the Styx on Facebook, and he'll do a fantastic job for you, folks. He does vouchers and all there as well. So this is the end of Doherty with the bottle of Billy Reid, and it's especially for Mick McAdam, who asked me here for it. Here we go.
I'll sing you a song of a terrible wrong on a flag at a flew half-mast. For a man who lay dead, he was rippled with lead, and he died on the streets of Belfast. And the radio said, there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. They never said why Billy Reid had to die, for he died to free Ireland. It happened one day when the bold IRA set out to fight for their land. With an old Thompson gun, got the troops on the run. To return to his home was their plan. And the radio said, there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. They never said why Billy Reid had to die, for he died to free Ireland. While returning his gun, Billy met British Huns, and when the fight begun, his position was dire, but his gun wouldn't fire, so he died with that old Thompson gun. And the radio said, there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. They never said why Billy Reid had to die, for he died to free Ireland. Though he lay dead, he was kicked in the head. By the hair they dragged him around, but they still fear him yet, and they'll never forget how brave Billy Reid stood his ground. And the radio said, there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. They never said why Billy Reid had to die, for he died to free Ireland. If you think he was right, come out, join the fight, and help us to free Belfast. For the blood that he shed, although he lay dead, in our hearts his memory will last. And the radio said, there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. They never said why Billy Reid had to die, for he died to free Ireland. And the radio said, there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. And he never said why. Billy Reid.
This Billy Reid there for you. Spicer Mick McAdam. Who feels like a dick right now? No, who? Me. So I'm just getting multiple messages coming through here. Ro, seriously, there is no 30th of February. What a walt. I just seen their bars open on the 30th of February. I was like, what? Where did that come from? So Pete, yeah, thanks you dick for just waking me up there. Michael Bolton, 30th of February, Ro, that's an old one. James just said there is no 30th of February. Marty Heaney, 30th of February. Yeah, joke's on me, that one. What a nurse. I feel like a dick now, fuck's sake. Yep, so we got was the Celtic Night there in the Doherty with the Ballad of Billy Reid Spice for Michael McAdam. Not a problem, mate. Right, so Son of Earl 1916. Ro, any chance going to play Emer's version of Arthur McBride? Mate, I've already played 2 Emer songs today, so if you're still listening next week, I'll get it on next week for you, definitely, but I can't play like 3 songs from her album. I've already done one from Lave the Rock and one from the new studio album as well, so hope you're happy enough for them there. Right, so who asked me for this one? Where are we? John Boy McElhenney says, Song for Ireland from Luke Kelly, mate, not a problem. This is a fantastic version of this song. I actually forgot about this one until you put it up, so great you can jump into Spotify and get these played. So for John Boy McElhenney, this one's space for you. This is the late great Luke Kelly with the Song for Ireland on Rebel Sundays, folks. In the last 20 minutes to go, here we go.
Walking all the day near tall towers where falcons build their nests. Silver winged they fly, they know the call of freedom in their breasts. Saw blackhead against the sky, where twisted rocks they run to the sea. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea, and I sang a song for Ireland, drinking all the day in old pubs where fiddlers love to play. Saw one touch the bow, he played a reel which seemed so grand and gay. Stood on Dingle Beach and cast in wild foam we found Atlantic bass. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland. Talking all the day with true friends who try to make you stay, telling jokes and the news, singing songs to while the time away. Watched the Galway salmon run like silver dancing, darting in the sun. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea, and I sang a song for Ireland, dreaming in the night I saw a land where no one had to fight. Waking in your dawn, I saw you crying in the morning light, sleeping where the falcons fly. They twist and turn all in your air blue sky, living on your western shore. Saw summer sunsets, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea, and I sang a song for Ireland.
Yes, and the late great Luke Kelly there for you. The song for Ireland, fantastic. John Boy McElhenney, that one's ours for. He asked for it on YouTube, and there's another great version of that song, folks, on the album we give away, that the Stories of the Land CD. And I'm just thinking who sings this here one on it. Where are you? Song for Ireland. Yeah, so Erin Carlin. So I think she's probably part of the Stephen and all the rest of them, that great family there up in Derry of musicians. So yeah, check it out, fantastic there. Martin Heaney, Aberdeen down to 10 men. Buns miss a penalty. Prick Morales scores. And then pass pen, and then sake. You could write that, see you could, like, seriously, it's just it's just your boy here who put up that there post about the 30th of February. I'm just messaging him here now, so I says, "Oh, you dick! I just made a cock of myself here on Facebook Live in the podcast." He says, "Ha ha ha! You're welcome." He says, "It's your own fault, dear sir. Happy New Year to you and the clan, by the way, bud." Yeah, Peter, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you as well, all the rest of the clan. Right, folks, we're pushing on the last 10 minutes, or maybe 10, 15 minutes of the show here for you. Going to try and fit a few more songs in before we finish up. Go to an absolutely probably the most well known of the Jerry Glacken songs this time. We're going to do the Sam song, but of course, but we're going to get a bit more livelier to finish up the show. So, one of the most liveliest Rebel albums of all time. It even has its own documentary about it. Of course, we're talking about Live the Brazen Head with Earl. So, just love this version of it, and just love the way the guitar, the electric guitar, just plays it, and it's fantastic. So, this is Earl with the Sam song. Folks, enjoy this one and sing along. Here we go.
Well, I have been a provost for 15 years or more. A Marmalites and murder upon my but I knew the score. But now we have a weapon we never used before. The Brits are looking worried, and I'm going to worry more. Chucky sing up the rock, up the rock, up the rock. Sam Messiahs in the sky. Started out with petrol bombs and throwing bricks and stones. With 100 more lads like me, I never was alone. At soon I learned that bricks and stones would drive the Brits away. It wasn't very long before who did I join? I joined the IRA. Chucky sing up the rock, up the rock, up the rock. Messiahs in the sky. Parliament in the year of 71. The Brits thought we were beaten, but we were on the run. And an early August morning, they kicked in our back door. For every man they took away, how many did they breast? They breast 100 more. Chucky Arla, sing up the raw, up the raw, up the raw. Sam missiles in the sky. While I spent 8 years in the cages, playing tight to think and plan. But the holy locked away a boy, I walked out a man. There's only one thing that I learned, well in this that I learned. The Brits will never leave us until when? Until they're blown away. Chucky sing up the raw, up the raw, up the raw. Sam missiles in the sky. The strike, I watch my comrades die. But in the streets of Belfast, you can hear the women cry. I can't forget the massacre at Friday at Loughborough. Salute my fallen comrades. As I watch the choppers fall, Chucky Arla, sing up the raw, up the raw, Sam missiles in the sky. Chucky Arla, sing up the raw, up the raw, up the raw. Sam missiles.
Yeah, folks, here you go there for yous. Legendary there for you. That's Arrow with the Sam song. Of course, yeah, had to get Jerry Glack on the credit for that one. Probably his most famous. You can tell I enjoyed that one there, can you, folks? You want to see me with a couple of venoms in me when that song's on? You don't want to see me, you make it pissed all over. Mate, just literally. Yeah, Michael Bolton, love this song, my Branton song. He's dancing away to this. Happy days. Davis, Tempest, Mitchell, yep, Chucky Arla. Right, folks, we're going to finish up here very soon. So if you have enjoyed the show today, please drop us a wee donation, folks. It'll just go towards helping the podcast go on. Obviously, it's all free. You know what I mean? It's all us here. And I have to say, I have had a good few offers of people wanting to sponsor the show over the last year or so, or the years, especially over the last months, wanting to sponsor the live podcast. But the thing is, it's once you sort of start getting in that there, you're sort of feels as if you're under somebody, you know what I mean, and you're sort of limited to what you can say, what you can play, and I don't want to get into that situation. That's why I sort of always want to say, listen, it's totally free to listen to, but say, I do have costs as well. I have to sort of keep websites running and upload things running and whatever, obviously equipment as well. So if you can, folks, throw something in, be much appreciated. Just so it's paypal.me/DJ Rose Show, folks. So if you can, throw something in, be much appreciated. Thank you. Right, so from one mad legendary Scottish band to another, here we go. Talking about Shabeen, by the way. You might know the words of this one.
Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own? For 800 years we fought you the VR. I will fight you for 800 more. Leave us be, British soldiers, leave us be. We're fed up with the lies and tyranny. Our 'cause now your turn to run, for it's ours I have gone. Take a tip and leave us while you mind. Come on home, brave soldiers, come on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own? 100 years we fought you down we are. I will fight you for 800 more. But if you stay, brave soldiers, and you stay, you'll never ever be P.I.R.I. All the 14 men in Derry, all that's the Jew will bury. Go on home and leave us while you're mine. Go on home, brave soldiers, come on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own? 100 years we fought you down we are. I will fight you for 800 more. We're not British, we're not Saxon, we're not English, no way. We're Irish and proud we ought to be. So fuck it Union Jack, we want a country back. And we want to see old Ireland free once more. Go on home, British soldiers, come on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own? 800 years we fought you down beyond. I will fight you for 800 more. Hey! British soldiers, come on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own? For 800 years we fought you down beyond. I will fight you for 800 more. Well, we're fighting British soldiers for the cause. We will never bow to soldiers because they're on our history. We're born to be free. So get out, British bastards, leave us be. Come on home, British soldiers, come on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own? For 800 years we fought you down before. I will fight you for 800. Is that right? Fight you for 800 more. Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And we'll fight you for 800 more. Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking home of your own?
Yeah, it's the main man, Alan Quinn, for you folks, of course, from Shabeen. And I think I was maybe recorded their album Live in the Creggan. I'm not too, maybe it is. So yep, there we go. So from one mad Scottish band to another, two legendary Scottish bands. And Alan just actually put a picture up, talking about the Sam song, actually, a video up the other day. Their very last Irish gig was recorded in Potter Brown's in Dublin, which would have been my 2019. Or the start of last year, which is absolutely crazy. Just goes to show you. Folks, I have to say, a few donations coming through here now of me. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Really, really helps. So for everybody that's giving me something through, thank you. The wee links are on the stream, on the comments section on YouTube, if you want to throw something in before we finish up. So, yeah, folks, thank you very much. It's been a great show today. Again, thank you very much to Peter O'Connell from Clover for coming on. Great interview. So we had loads of great feedback during the show. So 3 hours without a disruption. From, see, this happens, you go on the proper organisation like YouTube, you go on that bloody Facebook and you're cut off every 5 minutes. They mute your show, all sorts of shit, and it's a absolutely nightmare. So yeah, Marty Heaney, great show as always. Cara, Celine said, well, wee son loves this. Maura Burns says, could not comment. Good show, Rory. You're commenting now. Did you only get on there? Well, there you go. So listen, folks, go and finish up. Thank you very much. It's gone 4 o'clock here, so as usual, we're going to finish up with Around the Vein, our nice anthem. We always do our Oak version. So until next Sunday, say no guests next Sunday, folks. It's just myself, so it is. So for 3 hours, and I'll give you a wee shout during the week. What times and stuff. So again, Michael McAdam, superb show once again, Ro. Thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. Happy days, folks. That's what I want to hear. That's what Rebel Sunday's all about. That's what the Rebel podcast is all about. For basically giving you all a good, enjoyable Sunday afternoon and trying sort of just shine some light on a real crap sort of year and past year we're sort of been having. So folks, it's the last one. So best order again as usual for our nice anthem. I'll see you all next Sunday. Myself, Ro. Chucky Arla. See you next week. Thank you very much.
Shanna feet apart, a toffee alligator, winds are slow, her Rannikum Bei Butch Pacer Shantir Shun Sherpasta Ni Akbar Pantiran of the town Andot Aim Sabar Noel They come their kettle on was no cell They gone their grave Ni labot na bile Charlotte Canning Around a veil
You have been listening to Rebel Podcast of Rory Carton. To listen to this and past episodes again, and to also check out future episodes, keep an eye on our official SoundCloud page. We are also available on all social media outlets. Just search Rebel Podcast. Bhí si bhgéisteach an sin leis an fád cruúlaí Rebel le Rory McCarson. Le héisteach le seo agus hir hagran a ríis, agus na hagran atá le teach, caisúil ar siú ethical sugin ar SoundCloud, agus táid ar fáil ar gach ceiniúil ardan ar na main húisiúta. Ní mór ditch ag fád cruúlaí Rebel a curda.